Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody. Tuesday, 7:17. So happy to have you all here with us. Hey, Vanderlei, how are you, my friend?
I'm very good. How about you, Stevan?
Good. Well, it's sunny. It's sunny.
Not really. Not in Bluebell.
No, here it's sunny, my friend. Yeah.
No.
I booked sunny for today here, you know?
Very good.
Yeah. So happy to have you all here. And today we keep going our study of the chapter 5. As I said previously, chapter 5 is the longest chapter in the Gospel according to Spiritism by Allan Kardec. And we are keep going on the studies. Today we will talk about items 18 and items 19. So chapter 5, items 18 to item 19. And that's it, you know. And that's it. So let me see if we can start. There is any comments? So yeah. So hello for friends from Ireland, all SSI workers. Thank you. UK, Portugal, Brazil, and especially America. So good to have you all here. And let's kick off, my friend. Can you do the initial prayer?
Sure. For those who feel comfortable, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes, to take a deep breath, to try to concentrate only in this moment that we are here now. Forgetting about the troubles that we all have outside. Trying to remember those we love, those we care, and let's ask the good spirits to support them, to guide them to take the best actions possible in the situations they are. The same for us. Let's invite the good spirits to join us again. Thank you for the opportunity to be talking about Spiritism in Ireland, to our friends in America, all over the world, in Brazil, in Europe. It's been a great pleasure to be doing this for over a year, using Facebook and YouTube and all the social medias. Let's be thankful for these tools, because with them, we are still being able to study Spiritism ourselves and to help those who want to study a bit more. Thank God for the opportunity, and so be it.
Amen. Okay, so we have Evelyn with us today, Patrocinio with us. Good guys, thank you. Thank you very much. So, for sure, Evelyn, we will do this. At the end of the prayer today, we will dedicate this to your father.
Sorry, Evelyn.
Okay, so I hope you're okay. Anyway, so let me see here. Let me open up. So it is to suffer well or badly. Do you know, Vanderlei, that is a way to suffer? You suffer well, you suffer badly. You know,
Yeah,
You are a very good suffer person, or you are a very bad suffer person.
I'd say we are all bad in a way, you know,
Uh,
because we don't like to be suffering, you know. But
yeah.
the difference is like once we know a little bit about Spiritism, we start to understand what Christ meant when he said, "Blessed are the afflicted." He didn't try to say to us, "Oh, it's nice that you suffer." He didn't say that. But once he said that to us, he's trying to send a message to us. If you look with a bigger eyes, you know, if you spread the sense of his words, that in the level that we all gonna suffer. There is no way. You could be a king, you could be Michael Jackson, you could be Stevan, you could be me, you could be Patrocinio, Evelyn, anyone, Diana, anyone. We are gonna suffer. Perhaps my suffering would be different than Steven's suffering. Patrocinio the same. We all gonna suffer in a different way. But there is none of us that will not suffer in this life. Even those ones that we see in the social medias, Steve Bezos, the owner of Amazon, whoever, even the guy who was the owner of Apple, we saw the end that he had, Steve Jobs, God bless him. We are just using those people as an example, just to try to say that even the richest person in the world will suffer at some stage in their lives. Even the poorest one will suffer. But Jesus is trying to say to us that before here I start in chapter 5, that once we are suffering this life, it's, I know it's hard to say, but it's kind of not good, but it sends to us a signal that we are cleaning certain things that we have done before. And also, all this suffering, if we recap the chapter 5, they are not always trials or expiations. For some, it may be trials. For those, it may be expiations or both. But for example, some people, they might be suffering not because they did something bad, but because they asked for it. And Kardec says here beautifully, the soldier who do not send, who is not sent to the front to the soldier who is not sent to the front, you know, to fight, will not have the reward that he may later on have it, you know, after the war. But of course, he's using here a metaphor, trying to say to us, those who doesn't want to have a difficult life, those who just want to be watching Netflix all day. I'm not saying I'm against Netflix. I like Netflix, but I'm saying like those who doesn't want to receive to doesn't want to accept their suffering anyway, they are just blinding themselves. So the soldier wants to go to the front to fight because he knows that the reward will be good. That's why once before we incarnate, we say, hey, I'm Vanderlei. I have been failing several incarnations in these problems and these problems and these problems. Now I want to fix this once and for all. Really, Vanderlei, how do you want to do this? Okay, I made 3 reincarnations failing the same problem. Now in this reincarnation, give me a difficult task regarding to this problem that I will suffer quite a lot, but I'm gonna fix once and for all. So Kardec is explaining to us that only a few people see this suffering that we are having in a good way. Most of us, we complain, we say that life is not good, we say that our boss is not good, we say that our partner is not good, God is not good, and everything's not good. Only we are too good, but the rest is not. So if you, Steven, if I can reply, if I know how to suffer well, I think I can't. But maybe the difference which Spirit brings to us is this, that this suffer will pass. And this suffer that we may be having for some part of our life, it's in a degree of teaching us how to learn something different. So all the suffering that is given to us, it's because we are not perfect. The level that we are, we're gonna be facing suffering. But if we see the lesson behind, then we come to this part here. We start to suffer well because we understand that I'm not suffering because life is unjust. I'm suffering. That's all right. What can I do? What should I do? I'm gonna try to live my life in the best way possible, trying to help the others, trying to smile, even if I'm suffering. And guys, as the Spirit says here, only a mere of people, only a few people in the world knows how to do this. What do you think, Stevan?
Well, let, there's some story here. I know Vanderlei is the guy who loves to the story about Paul of Tarsus, but this guy was stoned after he became Paul. He was stoned. People are saying he was declared dead. No, he was rejected by his father. His fiancée passed away, so the person he most loved. He was in a very tough situation with the apostles until they get their confidence. I would say in a very very tough situation, you know. And I think it's in Corinthians. I don't know if you know by heart. He said, "Oh, I have all this, but I never." He said, "I never gave up."
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And he said, "I never gave up because Jesus was with me." So the point here is, everyone who are here on earth is fated to suffer, but we are not alone. We are not alone. We are here. One, talking to each other. We have each other to support. We have Spiritism to console ourselves. It's tough, especially these moments we are passing by now. It's really, really difficult. It's difficult because, let's say, this is my way. By the way, I'm not scientist. I'm not a physician. I'm nothing. I'm just a person who reads the news and have my own conclusions. But in my way, one way to stop this pandemic is if everybody accept the rules and follow the rules, we will stop it soon. I'm not judging here if you do not use a mask, if you are not taking vaccine, and we are not judging this, but if everybody was sticking with the rules, respecting other people, if we act with solidarity, we will perhaps end these pandemic times earlier than looks like we will have. Okay? And why we have this? Why we know? Because everyone has your own thoughts, and this give us to question 132 of the Spirit's book, in which Kardec asked to the spirits, why? What's the purpose of incarnation? I'm not saying we are incarnate to suffer, but we are incarnate to expiate, to resolve unfinished jobs we already open. Perhaps I have to work my pride. Vanderlei needs to work his selfishness. Patrocínio needs to work, I don't know, his behavior. I don't know. Everyone here needs to work something. Everyone, like Vanderlei said, since from the guy from Amazon, Bezos, no, what's his name?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, since him up to the poorest guy in the world, we are suffering. We are suffering because we need to stop to judging everyone. we like to judge, we like condemn someone by our own perspective. Always we measure and we apply our justice based in our knowledge. But I have one knowledge because I have lived more than Vanderlei. For example, I'm 44, Vanderlei is younger than me. So I have lived more than Vanderlei. Perhaps I do have more knowledge and for certain things, and Vanderlei, even though he lived in less time than myself, he may have more knowledge of something and he will have a better judgment for something. So, and we use this knowledge we acquired over time to judge people. And because of these differences of evolution, differences of knowledges, difference of beliefs, we're starting all this mess. Instead of unite, instead of I don't care which religion you are, I don't care which faith you have, I don't care where you live, I don't care if you're rich or if you're poor. Let's stick to the rules and apply this rule to everybody. Okay, let me see. I do have more things here, but Robbie, when we start to view all as an opportunity and not focus on the suffering, our perspective have the possibility to change. That's the beginning of the. You answer how you're suffering badly, or you're suffering well, because it's like, and I like the example of the soldier. The soldier is not there. Like the soldier who will fight, he is the least person who is guilty there. Because the politicians made this war, all these things, and they declared war, so they recruit the soldiers and put them to fight. And the great part will die, some will live. But at the moment he is in front of the battlefield, he will fight or he will die. If he is in the battlefield saying, oh, I didn't arrange this mess here, I have no such position in politics to declare this war, if he was there complaining, this person is going to be the first one who's going to die. Instead, if we have another soldier who says, okay, I was put in this position and I need to survive, what I need to do? He fight. And I share a little story with you guys. I did army school, and we had at the moment he was a captain, but we had this captain, and he was taking us to meet old sergeant, a retired sergeant, and he was from the city, and he is living in a very poor condition and something like this. And he was telling us the story about his life, because he was recruited to go to the war, Second World War, and he didn't want to fight. He had all the training. He went to the ship. he's embarking the ship to go to Europe, and he was praying every day, Jesus, please do not allow me to kill anybody. Jesus, please do not allow me to kill anybody. I don't want to kill anybody. And he was praying. He was praying, but he was following the instructions, the commands given to him. He was not there like, no, I will not do anything. Okay? And he arrived in Italy, and he was in front of the general, the Americans who received them. They say, hey, go to sleep because tomorrow we go to the battlefield. And he went to the battlefield, and he's praying, he's praying, he's praying, he's praying, he's praying, he's praying. And he said the battlefield was the kind of like a 500 meters of him when he entered the position to go to to start to shot the gun. A messenger came to the sergeant and said to him, hey, artillery, send a bomb and kill all the cookers. We have no cookers to feed the troops. We need some volunteers to fill the gap. The sergeant looked at him and said, hey, do you know how to cook? And he said, yes, so go. He spent the entire war cooking. And he said, from that day, he will cook for those who are less fortunate. And the base in Três Corações, all food who is left over from the not left over, the general who commands the school always give a percentage of the food to him, and he prepares a soup and he gives to the poor in the city. He passed away. I knew he passed away a few years ago, but it's an example. He never denied to fight. He was just praying to God that he didn't want to kill anybody. And we do have a movie. There is a movie there's a guy who said, oh, I will not touch a gun, and he saved, I don't know, 75 lives in one go, like that is a movie as well. So it's a choice. It depends. Again, it depends of you, how you look at the glass. If the glass is half full or half empty, it's up to you. Okay, Wanderlei, I said too much.
No, I agree with what you said. It's nice to hear that story about the sergeant. But the whole idea here is to try to explain to anyone that the suffering is something that we cannot choose or deny. But as you said, everything depends the way that we see things. But here, Kardec keeps going, the spirits keep going, saying here, I think was Saint Augustine, who said to us that the evil is the remedy. And here Saint Augustine is trying to say to us, and he's a kind of harsh spirit. He was a harsh priest. He's one of the fathers of the Catholic Church, of the Christianity, as we know nowadays. And he was a harsh person. He's still a kind of a harsh spirit, not saying he's meaning, but he's a kind of a very disciplined person. And he says to us here, why do you think life would be a paradise? Have you not heard before when Jesus said to us that we would have suffered? So why are you complaining now? Before we came to earth, he says here, that we chose everything. We knew what we were going through. So now is not the time for crying, it's not the time for complaining. As Stevan was saying, it's the time to go and fight, of course, the good fight here. Like Paul used to say, I fought the good fight. We are not saying to fight with people, but here, the Kardec, the Spirit says, so then the words, blessed are the afflicted, may be translated in the following manner. Blessed are those who have occasion to prove their faith, firmness, perseverance, and submission to the will of God, because they will have multiplied 100 times the happiness lacked on earth, for after the labor comes a repose. So here, he's trying to say to us that if we want to fight with someone, we should fight with ourselves. And which kind of fight he's talking about here? And the Paul used to refer also that fight that we fight with ourselves. Which kind of fight? Let's try to explain. Instead of trying to go and conquer the world, try to conquer yourself. If you know that you have some problems, let's say, I just want to give an example here, guys. I'm just using the words which came to my mind. Gambling, for example, online gambling or something like this. Why are you gonna go to your computer to that app? You know that you're gonna be failing if you go there. You're not gonna be able to not do it. If you know that you have a certain problems of how to conquer, to hold your temper in certain situations, why are you gonna be close to that situations? We are not saying that you should be a monkey, go to the Himalayas and just pray and forget about the world. No, we are trying to find the middle way here. But there are certain things that we have to admit that we are quite weak. And if we want to be strong and harsh, we should be with ourselves, saying to us, okay, I know I cannot run away from this problem which I have. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to start to conquer myself, conquer my temper. So once I do all of this, I try to go on this good fight, as Paul used to mention, and Saint Augustine says Lacordaire says here also. Then I'm improving myself. I'm not having any problems with anyone. I'm just dealing with myself. Once we are able to do this, we're gonna be much more flexible when the suffer comes to us, because we're not gonna be blaming. We're not gonna be trying to find excuses or guilty. We're just gonna say, yeah, it came. What can I do? What can I do to make the suffer less? Then you do everything that you can. Once we have that saying that God give me strength to do everything I can in my power to solve this problem, but give me wisdom to understand that there are times which I cannot go further. So we have to have this wisdom to understand that all of us, we're gonna have to go through certain part, and this chapter is about dealing with all this suffer here. So that's why I think this chapter, it's really we have people who, like our friend here, Evelyn, who lost her father. I mean, he's still with us, maybe not in a physical body. I spoke with Evelyn before, and unfortunately her mom passed away once we were in the Spirit Center, I remember. So I know her heart must be broken now. But Spiritists bring this sense to us that yes, the suffering that we may have because we are missing someone or because of a problem, it's here, it's strong now, but it's temporary. It will pass. But we have to choose, as Stevan said, how I'm going to be dealing with this situation. Am I going to be the one who is going to be, of course, in her case, it's natural to cry. I would cry with her if I was beside her. I would hug her and say, I'm sorry. I lost my father. I know the feeling. But there are situations that once we suffer, we still try to be attached with our suffering. I'm not saying about her case now. Let me explain that 100% clear. But I'm talking about different things that we want to still be the one who is suffering. Because sometimes we want to be seen to the other as victims. And Saint Augustine here is saying to us here 100 times, we are no victims. We are here to fight, as Stevan said, with ourselves, to improve ourselves. But there will be these times when we lose someone, when maybe something comes to our life and we cannot control, and we're going to cry. We're going to suffer. But we have to try to understand that God, even if it's difficult, God is a good father. So he will give to us the situations, the remedy, the opportunity, and the people to try to make this experience less painful. But like Emmanuel says to us so many times, his messages, we have to choose to be in God's side. We are not saying you have to choose to be Spiritist, Catholic, Buddhist. We are not talking about religion here. Like Emmanuel say, humanity does not need Spiritism, but needs first some kind of spirituality. So Emmanuel says to us, once we understand that we are beings who are just passing here and that everything will pass, and later on we're going to see the bigger picture, we're going to start to suffer well. We're going to start to accept this. And I'm really sorry, Evelyn. It must be hard. Sorry, Stevan.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So let's go to question 629 of the Spiritist book. When Kardec asked, "What is morality?" And the Spirit said, "Morality is the rule of good conduct. That is to say, the rule that distinguishes between good and evil. It's founded on the observance of God's law. Man behaves rightly when he does everything for the good of all, because he then complies with God's law." So, morality, it is when you are following the God's laws. And we have already said here, what is these laws? These laws is in your conscience. You do know when you are being a sarcastic person, or if you are being a good person, or if you are being an evil person. And then Kardec asked to the spirits on question 630, how can we distinguish between good and evil? Good is everything that is keeping with God's law, and evil is everything that deviates from it. Simple like that. Simple like that. So, again, you don't know how to act. Don't act. Wait. Don't reply. Keep yourself in a prayer. Keep yourself with your mouth shut and pray. Pray for the best. Think about. Think like, how would you like to receive that message, or how would you like to act upon such or such situation? And then you take a decision. I'm saying this because based on the decision you're going to take, you will have the reaction law. Action and reaction, it ever applies. Again, doesn't matter in which situation you are. You know? So think like, am I right? Am I harming someone? Am I creating more troubles here? Am I creating new problems? Am I being selfish? Am I being putting myself in a self-pity position? So all these questions you need to ask to yourself before you reply to someone. And what do? We don't think 1 second. When someone comes and tell us something, we have the answer already prepared. And then we suffer the consequences of this. And instead of saying, okay, yes, I own this is mine, because in that time I did something and now I'm reaping the consequences. But instead we say, oh, we blame God. Oh, why me? I go to the church every day. I go to the Spirit Center every Sunday. I do a lot of charity. I pray every night. And why this happened to me? Do you see that instead of see the glass half full, you are seeing the glass half empty? You're putting yourself in a position, a victim position. Again, the problems, the trials, everything we're passing now on earth, we choose that. When we are in the incarnated world, let's say if you have a such evolution, okay, you recognize that you have failed in something, and you say, okay, I want to go back, and I want to work my pride. I want to work my criminality tendencies. I don't know. And if you want to work let's take this example. Let's say I want to work my criminality here. Where is you gonna exercise your free will in order to get rid of this criminality sentiment? In a family is all good, everything fine, or in a family which you have a lot of criminals? What is your choice, Vanderlei?
I mean, if it was up to me, I would never choose to suffer. So I would choose only to be born in Manhattan in a nice mansion. But if you have to use the Spirit's book, as Kardec explains to us, normally we would choose the hardest, because once we use the idea that we are in the spiritual world, we see what is really reality. We're never going to choose easy things. Of course, since we are talking about choices here, we have to understand that, as Stevan said, depend how evolved I am to be choosing this or that. For example, if I have this problem with criminality, as Stevan was saying, but I still am a kind of weak spirit. What do I mean by weak spirit? I do not have moral strength. I'm some kind of spirit who goes easily to the safe side. Not safe, but I go easily to the easiest part of life, to the most enjoyable part of life. In some case, the Spirit says, Vanderlei, you are choosing a too harsh next life. You're not able to deal with that yet. So the Spirit says, are you sure you want to choose this, Vanderlei? So they realize that I'm not able to deal with that kind of problem. Sometimes they say, Vanderlei, maybe you're going to be choosing this harsh life in the next life. Maybe 2 lives, because you're not strong enough. But maybe you get someone like me, who is very teimoso, Esteban. Como que é teimoso mesmo? Very persistent and try to persuade everyone. That's me, more or less. I'm going to say to the spiritual, hey, come on, my mentor. I think you are wrong. Of course I can manage. Let me do it. The Spirit said, Vanderlei, you can't. No, I can do it, of course. I was in the army. I'm strong enough. Let me do it.
You are very stubborn.
Stubborn, yeah, thanks. So then, what? So then what's going to happen? They're going to say, okay, go ahead. But he knows I have the biggest chance to fail. Am I going to fail 100%? No one knows. But the spirits, they see how weak I am in that aspect. So they see that it's quite difficult for me to succeed in that case yet. We have a wonderful case in the book Renúncia or Renunciation by Chico Xavier, when a spirit comes to life and he says, I want to suffer this, I want to suffer that, I want to have children, I want to be poor, I want to be a lot of things he chooses. And the spirits look at him, oh God, he's going to fail. And they knew he would fail. But when I mean they knew, they never knew 100%, but they see the probability. So depending, the choices of our next reincarnation, it's not so simple as that. We have to see so many aspects to decide. But
yeah, we have a question here, Andre.
Go ahead.
Evelyn saying, can I ask a question of what I'm living today? My father was cremated 24 hours after his death, but I know that we must wait 72 hours. I prayed a lot for his spirit not to suffer from the cremation, because due to COVID, they couldn't wait 72 hours. Sorry, I can't stop thinking about it. Evelyn, if your father was cremated, it's because perhaps he chose that. He left a message saying, okay, when I die, I want to be cremated. If this is the case, I would say he's already prepared for it. The spirit, at the moment when you die, is disconnected from the body. It's what is taken to either way, like to depends of the evolution of the spirit, goes to better places or not. But I'm saying here is, don't think about it, my dear. This situation of cremating 24 hours, it's a rule, and I'm pretty sure all the superior spirits war with him and involve him. I tell you one story. When at the moment when the Christians was in the arena killing by the lions or the beasts, all this thing, I think is Herculano. Manuel de Miranda tells this in some of the books. I don't know what the books. And he was saying, when, let's say, the lion or the beast was about to catch that person, that Christian in the arena, the spirits was able to take the spirit of that person from the body, and that person don't suffer anything, don't feel the scratch, don't feel the bite, don't feel anything from the beast. And we are in a non-normal situation. And I really, really do believe the superior spirits, they taking care of this. Because we are not our normal. We are not in our standard thing. We are in a different thing, different time. And for sure, they are prepared for it. And they will prepare all those who are passing away in such different moment. That's my understanding. Wanderlei, I don't know if you want to say something.
No, it's just because some people, in the Spiritist movement, they say there is a rule that it's good to wait 72 hours. Mm-hmm. But believe me, Alvin, as you said here, you had no option. But as Stevan mentioned really, really well, the spirituality is aware of this. So if the doctors here, they have a certain level of preparation, the spiritual world has 20 times more preparation than this. So for sure, your father won't suffer anything related to the cremation. You know, even another point, another story, when Stevan said about Plano Pires, Joana de Angelis used to say, I think one of the books of Divaldo explains that she used to be, after she passed away, she used to go to the spirits, to the people in the arena and say, sing, my son, sing with all of your heart. And the
Mhm.
Christians, they used to sing and they couldn't feel any bite. Even if they were alive, they couldn't feel. So what we are trying to say here is that the spiritual world prepares everything. So your father had no option, unfortunately. But believe me, the world that you're living here now, as Stevan said, is a different one. So don't worry about your father. What if he suffered about this or no? I'm sure he didn't. And when I'm saying sure, I'm saying 100%. Because I believe there is this, the work of the spirituality of the group of the Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, who is one of the greatest spirits who supports everyone, related to this corona thing that we're having around the world. You know, his group of spirits are massive, and they are there trying to look after each one of us. We have seen that in Nosso when we had the war. The spirits were coming from the Second World War, and they were being received in Nosso some of them, and a lot of them they didn't suffer, the tragedies of war, because the spirituality had prepared them. So Evelyn, desculpa, sorry, don't think about this. But one thing that it's always good to do, we always say here, and I'm gonna say from my experience when I lost my father, is pray. But be careful with your prayers. What do I mean by that? If you keep praying to your father, that okay, you hope that he's well, but at the same time, you are having that kind of feeling in your heart. Why did God allow my father to pass away in such a way? Why has this happened in my family? My father didn't deserve. I know all your feelings. They they have existence to be there inside of your heart. But be careful, because Kardec says, the Spirit says to Kardec in the Spirit's book, that once we cry for those who passed away, with tears of, understanding that they must be in a good way, that God and the Spirit is going to be looking after them, that was the time of them here on earth, and now they have to go in their journey, which means in the spiritual world. Once our praise and our tears goes like this, it opens the way of the spirit. However, once your tears and your prayers are directed to God, saying that God is unjust, life is unjust, why my father, why my family, why me? I don't want to say this, but I'm going to be using the spirit's book. Kardec is backing me up. You are not helping the spirit. So be careful, because your father, he has a protection of good spirits surrounding him. I'm 100% sure. But pray with love for him, And believe me, this feeling, it won't pass. But with time, you're going to learn how to deal with that, because it will never pass, unfortunately. I could be lying to you, but I think we spoke before in the Spirit Center. uh, you know that it won't pass away. But with time, things they will get better. But I know now you must be suffering a lot, and I really feel sorry about you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good catch, by the way. Yeah. So, um, following to our example about being in a criminal family, is where you have the opportunity to work this. Because if you are in a family which don't have any criminality, you will not develop that feeling. And it's like you're doing a test and you cheat on tests. No, you have all the answers in your hands, and when you have the test, you just put the answers and you pass the year. You are approved, but at the end you didn't learn anything. It's the same thing. However, when you are in this family, you need to to go against all the tendencies. They know it's not right. They know doing that is not the correct choice. We know, guys. We know. But sometimes we already open our mouth and we cannot catch them back, We cannot say, hey, nope, sorry.
Come back.
Yeah. And we need to be humble enough when you open our mouth and you realize we said something not correct or not fair or too harsh. Stand up your hands and say, I'm so sorry. This is what we need to do. Sometimes saying so sorry, even though you don't agree with that. But the main point here is we need to fight. We need to move on. We need to go and complete our mission. If we are passing through this situation, it's because we do have strength to face this. I think that's it, my friend.
Yeah.
You want to add something more? I think we explore a lot this topic today. We can leave.
It's enough for today. Next week, we're going to be talking about item 20. Happiness is not of this world. I'm going to mark it here. Because today we went through part 19. So, guys, the thing about this chapter is a quite dense chapter, because it has a lot of small subtopics on it. But I'm not admired why Kardec concentrated too many pages, too much time, and too much energy on it in the Spiritism Soul. All of us, once we are suffering, we are trying to figure out why we are suffering. Now, this chapter deals with suffering quite a lot. That's why this part here, Kardec, he called the chapter "Blessed are the afflicted," because as we have to, once we hear Jesus saying that, at least myself, I was thinking, what is this guy saying? Blessed are those who suffer. Blessed are the afflicted. What is he like? Why is he saying this? I didn't like when I hear that the first time. I didn't understand. But this chapter helped me quite a lot to understand that the meaning that he had. Perhaps with Christianity, I'm not saying that everyone should believe or see the way that we see, as a spiritist. But the spirits here, with the help of Kardec, they, at least for me, they explain quite well that we are going to suffer, but the key here is to understanding this suffering. Why do we have to go through? And Spiritism, at least for myself, that's why, for 8 or 9 years now, I don't remember how long I started with Stevan in SSI, I don't remember. But that's why I'm always pushing hard and always trying to learn, because it's something which, at least for me, helped me how to deal with my suffer. Helping me years later how to deal with the passage of my father, which for me was quite traumatic. So that's why it's like this. Once you learn something new in your life, we always go like this. Oh, I want to say that to my friends. I want to say that to my, my colleagues at work. Of course, because we are happy and you see that's quite good. But of course, there are ways of doing this. In the beginning, we go with too much empolgação, Stevan. I forgot how to say.
Excitement.
Yeah, with a lot of excitement. I say, oh, that's the way, blah, blah, blah. Let's go and come with us. Instead of helping people to come to us, we push people away. So we have to be careful. But at least for me, Spiritism has been a great tool in order to not to accept or to learn, but at least see that for any bad, I mean, there is no bad, but any experience which maybe I don't like because it makes me suffer, there is some bigger meaning behind.
Yeah, well done. Yeah. Rob is saying here, suffering can be a great indication of what we need to focus on. That's it. Spot on. That's exactly what Wanderlei said. How blessed we are to be able to recognize what is we need to improve on. See, that's a wonderful way to see it. When we see a point and these, I don't want to touch there, It's up to you. Like Wanderlei said, perhaps when you touch this, there is a wonderful meaning for you. And at the right time, in the right moment, you will find out. Okay, so let's do our final prayer. I just say tomorrow at 8 p.m. we do have our study group. Please join us in our study group. I think Wanderlei already put here the banner.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah. So send an email to spiritismalland@gmail.com. So Nady will reply to you with the link. It's virtual study, but it's not open on Facebook or YouTube. It's a private study. Okay, so Tanya and Nady are brilliantly conducting this study. And we'll be here next Thursday as well. So thank you all. And let me do the final prayer.
Steve, just before you go, I think we have one more comment here. And also, did you see what I added there? Yeah, to you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Pachi, thank you, Pachi, for being with us here. So, once again, I will invite everyone to raise up your thoughts towards our mentors, towards the mentors of the SSI, mentors of Kardec Radio. We want to say thank you, everyone, for being here today, for all these wonderful comments. May this message reach those who are here with us online and those who will watch this later on. Along with this prayer, we would like to send a good vibration to Eneir Camargo de Oliveira and his family. May this prayer reach him, reach his family, and give some consolation on both sides. Also, we pray to all brothers and sisters who passed away. It's a difficult moment, difficult times, different situations. Unfortunately, we do not understand why this, why that right now. Just time will answer these questions. But for those who passed away, especially you and here, May this prayer help you to wrap you up in love, in a way to say thank you for the incarnation, everything you have done. And may this prayer reach all the hearts who are suffering with this loss at this moment. So be it. Amen. Okay, okie dokie. So, Evelyn, I will send your father's name to our healing group today. They are together at 8:30 to pray, to do a healing to everybody here. So I will send as well. Okay. So once more, thank you guys. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next Thursday. Wanderlei. Thank you.
See you, Stevan. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice end of the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.